Welcome back, friends. Big Deno plays Kingdom Death. It's been an absolute wonder playing this this campaign. I'm enjoying it very much. It's the Gambler's Chest expansion, People of the Dreamkeeper, and we're on to Lantern Year 4 of our second campaign. Made an extremely strong start thanks to some of the advantages that we accrued in our last campaign. And we now move into the normal process. We are trying to make Green Armour in this Lantern Year as well. So we have Manhunter coming up, we have the Lion Knight coming up, we have a lot more stuff still to come. Flower Knight, yeehaw. But for now, we'll worry about our little friend the Butcher and what he brings to the table. I'm not going to set up the stone columns. They very rarely have much influence on the game. Here's our 4 survivors. I have set up our deck of cards for the Butcher already, but I will shuffle those for you all. We have our Frenzied Infectious Lunacy cards and our survivors now. I've got the Scout with Grimjaw. Doesn't get any benefit from using it, but it's still a decent enough weapon that it's worth having a crack with as a dagger. But yeah, let's go over to here. So we'll take these 4 survivors in. We're taking Seb, Kaylin, Top, Brandy, and Iris as our little lantern chick. Now, we are hoping, without maybe a lot of hope, that Brandy is going to die. I don't want her to get undeathable, actually. Maybe she's the wrong person to try and get to die. No, Brandy's going to try and die. We wanted to gain a Death Poet brain trauma rolls. So, Brandy is disembodied. She cannot gain insanity. And neither can Kaylin. Neither of them can gain insanity. So, despite them departing with and gaining insanity, we are going to reduce their insanity to what it is when they depart. So, I wonder if the app will track it. I doubt that very much. That's it. We'll depart. No, it didn't. So she loses in insanity because she can't gain it. And neither can Brandy. They were the only 2 disembodied we had. Yep, great. So I'll just quickly go through the survivors. Yeah, so we have Seb. He's got survivalism. So he's going to gain a survival token, which goes there. And he will be able to spend that in this fight to get a progress and level up to Tenacity 2, which is awesome. Kaylin, she is going to hopefully not suffer any Death Poet things at all. This is an interesting interaction for her. So this says you cannot gain insanity. Grounded, at any time you may set your insanity to 0, 1 or 2. So very important terminology there. So I believe Kaylin, as grounded as she is able to at least walk out with some insanity when she goes to the party. Top, he can't gain survival during the showdown or hunt. He has 1 more progress to level up to Guardian 2, which is amazing. So we'll get to do that in this fight. Brandy and then Iris, who we're going to try and pick up a fallen lantern from someone's dying. That's the hope anyway. Yeah, so let's nip over here to the showdown board. The Butcher. We have our team of people. So Iris, yes. Brandy, yes. Topolis, you need to change. You can be this dashing, young-looking survivor. Kaylin, the champion, and Seb. Boom. Okay. So we need one terrain card. And that's pretty much all we need. And we flip an ore vein. Oh, that's lovely. I do want an ore vein actually. Okay, now in this showdown, the Butcher draws 2 AI cards and he is speed 10. So we are going to attempt to remain outside of range of him with all of our survivors, except for the one we want to die, which is Brandy. Okay. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we just need to be one further down. And that is all. The survivors are defending their home. They will go first. Look at how bravely they are standing away from the butcher. So he goes. We go. She is going to use the frenzy drink. When you suffer a brain trauma, gain 1 strength token, limit per showdown. She gains a strength token. She gains another strength token. She gains a speed. She would gain 1d5 insanity, but thanks to disembodied, she can no longer gain insanity. So she's frenzied, and I'm going to mark that with one of these crazy faces so that I remember, because I have a tendency to forget frenzy. And that is pretty much it. We will archive the ore vein and investigate the ore vein. We roll a 5, and that is, I believe, find an iron strange resource. So I'll put that there. That's the end of our brave first turn. Block, block on our 2 other survivors. So the butcher draws. Oh, that's just the worst. Oh, that's the fuck me. That's the worst. All right, when this comes into play, all non-deaf survivors suffer 1 brain damage per monster level. So Brandy suffers 1 brain damage. Oh, she suffered a brain trauma. Iris, you suffer a brain trauma. Oh, on arrival, gain a death token. We'll give her a death token. Top gains an insanity. Kaylin loses an insanity. It's just the only one I didn't want to see, really. And at the start of the butcher's turn, we discard that if a survivor dies, so we're going to have to deal with it again. Second AI card is Devour Lantern. He moves and attacks the targets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is all. There is no other AI card. We do not do anything else. That's our turn over. All right, at this point, Brandy can't spend survival to dash. I need to just put a marker out for everyone's brain trauma, because everyone's going to get frenzied at some point. I wanted to slow play this butcher fight. I didn't want to have to rush him, so that I could level up some knowledges. Brandy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She'll go to here. She is frenzied. She can't spend survival. That's all she's done. I do need to do arrival bonuses for top. He will gain insanity from his stone noses arriving. Good. Annoying. He also has 1 on the body. She has 1 on the body from the bloody cloth. Iris has 1 on the body. And Kaylin has an extra 1 on the arms. That'll do. What do we do now? Yeah, so I think we'll send one of the boys out. Yep, So Seb's going to spend a survival to dash, and then he's going to spend his survival token that he gained to level up to tenacity 2. So I like to get those cards out so that I remember that they've leveled up. And there is tenacity 2. Tenacity 2. And so his dash will be to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3 into the side there. And he will swing with the Blood Drinker. It's 2 on a 6. So he rolls absolutely bupkis and does no wounds. So this death token situation is interesting over here on... so this is when a survivor on the showdown dies on the showdown board, replace their image with a fallen lantern. Light Whisperer. On arrival, gain a death token. Okay, then roll 1d10. Great, so we can just basically use Light Whisperer as a cat's eye circlet. Interesting. Done and done. And at this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kaylin's going to there. Spend a survival to dash. She'll swing with her rib blade. She does not have any accuracy, and so that misses on a 5. Toppy top, 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 top. You got the beast knuckle. I don't want you to do anything yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stay in the corner. That'll do. So, start of our turn, all survivors suffer 1. No, start of the butcher's turn, all non-death survivors suffer 1 brain damage. So he suffers 1. She suffers 1. We haven't done a wound yet. Top suffers 1. Brandy suffers 1. Iris suffers that. And I will put these markers out so that we remember that we're going to have to frenzy everyone in a very short moment. He draws an AI card, and he draws Bite, the closest threat in facing. Boom. Random severe head injury. That is great. So 2 on a 4+, targeting Brandy. So it goes to 5+. 1 hit. Do I want her to die yet? Death Poet. We're going to get Death Poet off quite a lot, so we'll let that go through. We'll let that go through. It's going to clear off Screaming, by the way, if we do this. And we'll roll a random severe head injury for Brandy. She rolls a Lantern 10. On the head. Does she have any systemic pressure? No. The head. Destroyed tooth. If you have 3+ courage, you boldly split the tooth out and gain 2 insanity. She can't gain insanity. That is the end of that. Second AI card is Hack, the closest threat in facing. It's 2 speed. On a 4+ goes to 5+. 2 hits, including a perfect hit. These both do 1 damage. Waist and body. She gains a bleed token. And that is the end of the butcher's turn. Okay. She could have died with that severe injury. It would have been great. Into the rear with the Axe Blood Drinker. 2 hits, including a perfect hit for Seb. Does he have anything for perfect hits? No, he does not. So, we flip the cleaver. So, Seb gains an insanity, which is helpful, as he has none. And then we will do this wound. That's a 5, plus his blood drinker is plenty. So that does a wound. Now we will dash with Kalen. I think Seb spent a survival to dash, but he may have did not get it back. Okay. So yep, so this is in the middle of his action. So he suffers a bash, so he's knocked down. Kalen will absolutely move away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she has to suffer bash. And he's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Face like that. Kalen will go. So Topless is going to spend a survival to fist bump. And stand up our frenzied survivor. And we will track that this turn. So she has dashed. Top has fist bumped. And she will then swing. She has already been frenzied. And she is going to swing with the Spear of Life, which hits on a 6+. She rolls 1 hit and she hits the Furious Scrag, which is great. Can she wound? She can, because she is strength 8. And now Kalen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into the rear with the Rib Blade. She hits with a 5, thanks to the Rib Blade. Ah, trappy trap. Okay, all survivors in the zone of malice gain a bleeding token and suffer knockback 5. So Kalen suffers knockback 5, a bleeding token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Okay, so knockdown because of collision. The basic action targets Kalen. The basic action is 2 speed on a 4+. She has 1 evasion, so that is a 3 and a 10. The 10 hits. It's 1 damage to her head. She suffers a bleed token, and she is fine at this point. She is the one with the bandages, so she should be okay. So she's done, he's done. So Top can get into range. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Into range like so. So he will spend a survival to dash. Does he gain it back? He does. Oh, sorry, he doesn't have that. No, so he's just going to spend a survival to dash. He's got the beast. And unfortunately, at this moment, I lost audio and didn't realise it because I was so invested in what was happening. This fight ended up being a real nail biter, with the butcher just constantly pounding on everyone, us getting knocked down, bleed tokens continuing to get applied, as he always does. But I'm just going to leave this run through and show roughly what happened. The frenzy kept getting applied thanks to the brain damage. Unfortunately, our deadest can't gain insanity, so this ended up being a very punishing fight for poor Kaylin, losing a lot of her insanity and not regaining any. But we did have bandages in the back pocket, so this card was a great one for us to get. Gaze of Truth forced the butcher to target the closest survivor, and all he did was menace, which means he kept hitting Brandy, which is all we wanted him to hit, which was not a big deal. Just kept menacing her, and then eventually started punching on with her. There's not a lot of wounds left at this point. I think I've got 2 or 3 wounds. She gained a disorder. Everyone stands up at the start of our turn. Brandy tagged with the spear twice. Managed to knock off 2 more wounds. We moved into the side there. Missed all of our attacks. Managed to hit once here with the axe. Kept running the scout away. Get the scout to safety. And I think I realised very soon that I actually need the scout to go and pick up the fallen lantern, so I changed my mind and run the scout back towards the fallen lantern. There we go. So yeah, the butcher's got about 4 or 5 cards left. We're forcing him to target Brandy, constantly throwing down severe head injuries because of the bite attacks that he had, so she ends up picking up 3 or 4 head injuries. Getting closer and closer to death. But she was also leveling up. Was that survivalism? Don't remember. Anyway, we trapped, which was just glorious. I think I top decked the trap about 4 times in this fight, which is just wonderful. Again, Brandy's the one who's getting mostly pounded. But we're slowly chipping away. I mean, at this point, it's just straight up and down, roll as many dice as you can and see who wins. We're wounding on 2s with everything. So I started shifting over to Fist and Tooth just to try and roll less hits, so I'd flip less dice, which is an interesting approach for the butcher. And again, I was trying to not end this fight as quickly as I could have, because I was trying to kill Brandy and gain the benefits of lanternism, leveling up lanternism's knowledge. At this point, I think there's 2 bites left in the deck, so I just got bite. The screaming ended up being the thing that was actually probably the most detrimental in this entire showdown. I went from having 10 insanity on Kaylin down to about 4, and we had most of the other ones suffer a brain trauma here or there, so it's just biting. We're just biting Brandy in the face over and over. Pretty funny. And I think that's right, I remember what was happening here. Undeathable she's got undeathable as a deadest, and so she kept not dying, which was awful, because the downside of that ability, it's a really powerful ability, but its leveled up knowledge is nowhere near as good as, by the way, on a 6+ you don't die. So unfortunately we leveled it up that she died. She leveled it up twice, 3 times, so we removed the actual good ability and we replaced it with this one, which is bad. So yeah, our deadists are unfortunately not going to be undeathable anymore. Does she die? No, she does not. Does she die again? No, she does not. And we leveled up the ability that stopped her from dying. So that's a really bad outcome here. That ability, you get 3 cracks at surviving, and if that's on just about anyone, you know, the likelihood that someone's going to die 3 times, not going to happen. If we had that undeathable in the pocket for, you know, late game fights, it's huge. You inexplicably survive, but no, did not happen. So finally she dies. On reflection, I probably should have used her lifetime reroll to try and get her to die before that happened. Oh well. We go and pick it up. He's got 1 wound left. We level up to number 2 on our lantern abilities, which I'm starting to desperately enjoy. There's a lot of cool things with death tokens and interactions with death tokens now. We just need to do a single wound and we succeed, and that is the end of the butcher. We gain all of the various collective cognition. We gain 1 axe weapon proficiency point on Seb, even though we don't have weapon proficiencies yet, I believe, because the butcher specifies axe, you are able to gain axe proficiency. We gain a broken lantern and a cleaver, but we've already got a better axe than the cleaver and the blood drinker, so that's fine. These are all the ones we leveled up in the knowledge. We also picked up an iron at the start of the fight, which is great. And settlement event that we gain is shapes in the darkness. The broken lantern that we picked up finally allows us to make the scout's lantern, which is great. 2 of our buffheads go into the darkness and gain some insanity, which is great. Gorn climates, we're fine. We roll 6, and we add it to the timeline year next year. So managed to avoid the horrific outcomes of plague and having our settlement slowly die. We roll on stained, which is awesome. So we gain face painting, and we pick ourselves up serial code on a survivor because we have a collective cognition of 5 or higher. You would have to actively avoid gaining collective cognition, given, actually I don't know if it's possible, because you gain 3 from the butcher and this comes in at this point, and you gain 1 from the prologue and you gain 1 from, so yeah, there is no way to gain stained at all. We have a beautiful story of the Crone's Tale, where we learn about the Flower Knight, and we can now hunt the Flower Knight as a quarry. Some beautiful artwork, some beautiful words. I enjoy it quite a lot. That's the forest gate. We're going to walk in there soon. Delightful. Look at that. So we're getting the cursed flower, sleeping virus flower. We placed that on Colette because she has a luck. So she's now going to have an additional luck from sleeping virus flower, and then also a lucky charm. So she's going to be luck galore. First time we face the Flower Knights, we will clear flower addiction on a couple of people, but we've got 2 flower addictions out there now, so we'll definitely be hunting a Flower Knight soon. And we have the Hanged Man. So at this point, we are supposed to commence with a special showdown for the Manhunter. We get to do all of our various things, but unfortunately the timing of that confused me because I'm very slow, and I couldn't remember the exact specifics. You are actually supposed to depart at that point in time. You don't regenerate more endeavors. You simply fight, and then you come back to this point in the showdown. So I'm about to do a few bits and pieces where I gain some gear, but none of those things should have happened. I don't believe the gear is actually of much impact at all. We're doing vaultless on tough, so we don't get tough, which is good. And this is me trying to figure out where the special showdown happens. It looks like it happens after the develop step, and then you move back to update death count. So maybe I am right. I can't really remember, but it is what it is. So we've got 6 endeavors to spend, thanks to collective toil and Kalen being a tinker. Because we killed the butcher, we moved our collective cognition to 7, which gains us the monster knowledges from that, as well as the forum. So we gain Blood Dancer. We get to give that to someone. I believe we give that to me. No, we give it to Kalen. Very good. Good choice, Deno. And then these are me leveling up all of the knowledges that we have. We earned in that showdown, which is good. Death Poet's a good one. So there's interesting interaction between deadism and with Accept the Darkness versus Collective Toil. So normally I prefer Accept the Darkness. Collective Toil, it's okay, but yeah, with deadism, dying from brain trauma on deadists, you get some benefit out of that. So yeah, not too bad to have gone and leveled up Death Poet at this point. We gain 3 knowledges from the forum, and we draw 3 of our starting knowledges. So guess what? We will not be purchasing, because at Collective Cognition 8, we drop those out of the deck. But we do purchase Blood Dancer on Deno, who gains a Lumi out of that. We will endeavour, and we desperately need to pick up Symposium. And of course we draw 2 that are not good, Pictographs and Morgue. I actually remember that I have the option to special innovate pictographs, and so I do that. And that allows me to draw another one instead of pictographs with one of my endeavours. However, I still end up choosing the Morgue because it's one that I haven't used, because I have never really taken Cannibalise, and Cannibalise is actually working out pretty well with the Lanternism approach. So Lanternism, we're gaining benefit from picking up corpses on the ground, and Cannibalise, we're gaining resources from that. So there's potentially some decent enough outcomes from letting our survivors die and moving into cannibalism. Collective Toil feels like the right approach for cannibalism, because you need those endeavours. But we do need to generate some more survivors. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of love juice right now. We don't have any. So there's the extra one that I could have done before pictographs. Yeah, so no love juice means we're in trouble, but we will be able to generate some survivors relatively easily with some augury rolls, etc. But yeah, I'd like to have 20 survivors in our settlement, and have our death count continue to grow. So the endeavours part is the tricky part with this, and it's interesting without taking graves, the impact on your endeavours is even further impacted because of the lack of tinkers. You don't get tinkers straight away. Anyway, draw a seed pattern for someone whipping up into insight when I'm trying to level up. Again, the fingernail whip, which we probably won't build in this thing. But that's it. Sorry that I cut out the audio, but this will have to do. Big day out.